talk more about the situation in Syria, I'm joined from Washington by Webster Griffin Tarpley, author and historian. Welcome to the programme, sir. First of all, Mr. Tarpley, we had Vladimir Putin saying that measures should be taken to prevent a Libya-like scenario in Syria. I mean, in your opinion, how much is the scenario in Syria like that of Libya?
I think it is quite similar in many ways, except that it threatens to become much more dangerous for the world than Libya ever could. Just in terms of the Houla Massacre itself, I think world public opinion has a right to know that the Syrian government has now concluded their commission of inquiry about what happened. It was led by Brigadier General Qasem Soleiman, and their finding is that these killings were done by a death squad of about 800 fighters who attacked 2 Syrian military bases and then went on. They proceeded to carry out a massacre of civilian populations, and they targeted the people in the civilian populations who refused to join in the attack on the Assad government. So I think that's the death squad thesis fully confirmed. And I myself have compared Italian, Belgian, British, Russian, and other sources who all agree that the hegemonic fable in the Western world, in the NATO-controlled media, about the evil Assad ordering some kind of a massacre. This is a complete fiction. It's a provocation. It's designed to lead to war. Now, it is important that Russia continue to block an attack on Syria in the Security Council. We've seen Putin now talking with Mrs. Merkel. Mrs. Merkel is not likely to take the lead in any attack on Syria, nor is she likely to participate heavily in it. Right? Germany had a fairly restrained participation in the attack on Libya. But Hollande, I think, is in grave danger. Hollande seems to be captured already by the Sarkozy bureaucracy, and Hollande has been making statements that are extremely reckless and irresponsible about the need to do something and so forth. Hollande campaigned successfully for president, saying that there would be a clean break with Sarkozy. Foreign policy did not figure too much in that, but that was the general idea. Now we hear Hollande talking more and more like a clone of Sarkozy. He is threatening to wreck his own presidency before he even completes his first month in office. I think Hollande would be very wise to exercise restraint, because he proceeds along this path at his own peril. Hillary Clinton got into the act, and her threat, I think, is a very interesting one. Hillary Clinton says to Russia, you better watch out, because you support Syria, and if you support Assad, you're going to create a civil war, and you Russians will be responsible. In reality, as everybody knows, it's the US, the British, France, NATO, the Israelis who are responsible for these death squads.
Indeed. And so what do you think that we should expect in the coming weeks in Syria?
Well, the rebellion, I think, it is politically defeated. And I would go back to the elections that took place, right? The 51% of Syrians who were willing to come out under sniper fire and vote, and really any vote was a vote against the death squads, whether you were for Assad or for some opposition group, and significant opposition people got elected. Since then, we've seen the Syrian National Council fall apart, and then we've seen this Houla Massacre, which is a kind of a Guernica, right, in the Spanish Civil War. It's an attempt to to generate foreign involvement. Right? The only hope for NATO is to invade and bomb Syria. So what Hillary Clinton is really saying is, Russia, if you prevent an outside invasion, then we're going to have a civil war. The only hope for NATO is to get enough hysteria in world public opinion to actually carry out the bombing and the invasion. I don't think they're succeeding. I think they came close this time, but it seems to me that they haven't quite gotten to critical mass. Now, of course, I'm sure they'll be back. I think it would be very important for some important world power to denounce these death squads. They were designed by Ambassador Negroponte. They were implemented by U.S. Ambassador Ford. this is a complete destabilization, cynically planned from top to bottom.
Indeed. Well, sorry, on that note, we'll have to leave it there. Many thanks to Dr. Webster Griffin Tarpley, author and historian from Washington. Thanks for your time there, sir.